Hey, what's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys what classics I haven't really read as of yet. So I feel like I've read quite a few classics over the course of my reading career, I would say, because I was an English major in college, and so most of the classes I had some kind of literature-based items going on with it. So I've read a lot of classic literature. I've read a lot of things that are typically seen in many English classes. But today what I want to do is I want to go specifically on a website that I think showcases all the classics that have ever been made. Some of the ones that will be in this list will be books I have currently in my physical TBR that you will have seen in my physical TBR books that I still haven't read video that I did a couple weeks ago. Okay, so here we have a list of like reading guides that are specifically for these classic books that Penguin has specifically published and like republished. Now, I think this is a more real, like accurate list of all the classics that there are or what are considered classics and maybe just American literature. I don't know if this extends necessarily to English. I saw Charles Dickens in there, so I think it does, but I think that this is a more comprehensive list specifically for American readers, for them to get like most of the literature that there is in the world. So I don't know if this extends to other countries other than maybe England, but if it doesn't, I apologize, and I would love to read other classic works from other places of the world if I can get them in an English translation. So if you have things like that, let me know down in the comments below, and I will definitely make sure to check those out as well. But we are going to go through this list, and I'm going to let you guys know what I have and have not read. So first we have 1984 by George Orwell. I have read that, and I gave that a 3-star. I think that a lot of the classics I've read so far in the last couple of years have been mostly audiobook. So I think that a lot of them I have rated like 3-star because I couldn't follow it as well, and so I may have to get like physical books of a lot of these that I've already read to like reread so that I can try to have a better understanding of the story. Because for instance, like 1984, I feel like I would have liked it so much more if I had read it physically, because the audiobook I was very confused with most of the time. So we have now The Acts of King Arthur and His Noble Knights by John Steinbeck. I have not read that. Adventures of Augie March, no. Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, no. The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, no. Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, I have read that and I loved it. It was one of my most favorite Bronte sister stories, probably one of the best out of the 3. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I have not read the original Alice story. I would like to. I did read a arc of a novella that kind of was a biography of Lewis Carroll and like how he got to writing Alice, essentially, and how he had met a little girl that he basically used to create Alice. So it was very interesting. I really liked it a lot, but I have not read the actual original Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Angle of Repose by Wallace Stegner, no. Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, no, but I have heard a lot of people say that that's a really good one. Appointment in Samara by John O'Hara, no. The Bell by Iris Murdoch, no. Candid by Voltaire, no. Carpenter's Gothic by William Gaddis, no. Ceremony by Leslie Marmon Silko, no. City of God by E.L. Doctorow, no. Cousin Beetle by Honor del Balzac, no. Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, no, but I do have a copy of that, so that is one I would like to read. The Custom of the Country by Edith Wharton, no. David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, no, but that is one I would like to read because that one I heard is like one of his better ones. A Death in the Family by James Agee, no. Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. I have read the stage production of this. I've not read the actual story, but when I was in college, I took a class that focused on theater theory, essentially, and we had read the stage production of Death of a Salesman, and I really liked it. I'd like to see, though, if the actual book is any different. The Deptford Trilogy with Fifth Business, The Manticore, and World of Wonders by Robertson Davies, no. The Divine Comedy, Volume 1, The Inferno by Dante Alighieri, translated by Mark Musa. I don't think I've read that particular translation, but I have read the entirety of the Divine Comedy by Dante Alighieri because I actually took a class in college where that was like the majority of our semester. Like we were reading a bunch of things that talked about different versions of hell over the course of different areas of the world, so that we had an idea of like different versions of hell, and we could see kind of how Dante may have taken a lot of different things from different cultures to build his version of hell, with especially Inferno. But we actually read the entirety of the Divine Comedy, and I really enjoyed it. It was actually a really fun class to take, and I really liked reading it for the first time because I actually played the video game of Inferno when I was a lot younger, and it was, I mean, obviously it was very different. It wasn't exactly the same kind of story, but it did play with a lot of the elements that the original story had, which I immensely enjoyed. Dubliners by James Joyce, no. East of Eden by John Steinbeck, no. Eichmann in Jerusalem by Hannah Arendt, no. Emma by Jane Austen, yes, that is my most favorite Jane Austen story. I love it so much. It is such a good story and still so timely. Like I had a whole video in one of my makeup inspired by videos talking about Jane Austen, specifically Emma, why it's still so timely and why all of Jane Austen's work is still so very timely. Excellent Women by Barbara Pym, no. El Filibusterismo by Jose Rizal, no. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, yes. I read that for the first time when I was in high school, actually, because one of the English classes I had in high school, I think it was my junior year, we were told to read that. The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, no. A Tale of Two Cities and Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, I have not read either of those. Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, no, but I do have a copy of that. And I read a piece of it. I took a literature theory class in college that we read a portion of Heart of Darkness, but I never read the whole book. And to be honest, I don't remember what I thought of the piece that I read of it. It kind of was more of like a theory. It was a class that talked about the different theories of criticism when it came to literature. And that was part of the text we had because we were looking into how colonialist perspective will play into like criticisms of literature kind of thing. It was one of my hardest and stupidest classes I think I ever had to take because I do not think I will ever take anything I learned from that class into anything that I will do in my life. A Hero of Our Time by Mikhail Lermontov, no. Herzog by Saul Bellow, no. The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton, no. Howard's End by E.M. Forster, no. Ironweed by William Kennedy, no. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, no, but I do have a copy of that. Kristen Lavren's Daughter trilogy with the Wreath, the Wife, and the Cross by Sigrid Undset, no. Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens, no. Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert, no. Mary Chestnut's Diary by Mary Boykin Chestnut, no. The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov. Wow, I can't read Eastern European Russian names apparently. No. Les Miserables by Victor Hugo, no, but I do have a copy of it. Moby Dick by Herman Melville, which includes The Lost of the Ship Essex and In the Heart of the Sea. Don't think I have that particular edition, but no, I have not read Moby Dick, but I do have a copy of that too. The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins, no. My Antonia by Willa Cather, no. My House in Umbria by William Trevor, no. Nectar in a Sieve by Kamala Markandeya, no. Noli Me Tangere by Jose Rizal, no. The Odyssey by Homer, no. A piece of it, but I have a physical copy of it. Of Human Bondage by W. Somerset Maugham, no. Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, yes, I have read that. That was one of the required reads that we had when I was a sophomore in high school because it just, I don't know, like it was a short book. It was really easy to fly through. So in high school, they really wanted us to read like shorter pieces so it was easier to digest, and then we had more books to read throughout each year. Loved that one. That was probably one of my most favorite reads of my entirety of classics. Like that's one of my more favorite ones. On the Road by Jack Kerouac, no. On the Road, the Original Scroll by Jack Kerouac, no. The Oresteia by Aeschylus, no. Our Nig by Harriet E. Wilson, no. The Pearl by John Steinbeck, I actually did read this one. I read it, I think, at the end of last year. I listened to the audiobook, and I actually liked it a lot. I like it a lot more now than I think I did when I first read it because I think I was a little off-put by like just the fact that it was an audiobook I had listened to that was a classic. I think I like it a lot more, and I think it definitely speaks to what the theme of the book is, which if you haven't read it, it talks a lot about greed. It's a very, very much a book on greed, and I really liked it. Persuasion by Jane Austen. I have read it and I really liked it, but it's not my favorite Jane Austen story. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Actually, probably my second favorite out of all of Jane Austen's books. I think I like Emma just a tiny bit more, though. The Red and the Black by Stendhal, no. Revolutionary Suicide by Huey P. Newton, no. A Room with a View by E.M. Forster, no. The Sea of the Sea by Iris Murdoch, no. The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I think I did read this one, but it was a long time ago. Like, I think this was a book that I read in like the 5th grade. I remember like reading something called The Secret Garden, but I don't know if it's the exact same story. I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't remember now. Seize the Day by Saul Bellow, no. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, yes. It's not one of my favorites, but it's still good. Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, no. The Song of the Lark by Willa Cather, no. Swan's Way by Marcel Proust, no. The Tale of Genji by Murasaki Shikibu, no. Test of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy, no. The Underdogs, a novel of the Mexican Revolution by Mariano Azuela, no. Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray, no. The Vivisector by Patrick White, no. The Voss by Patrick White, no. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, no, but that is actually one I'm kind of intimidated by and would like to try to read hopefully at some point. Who Would Have Thought It by Maria Amparo Ruiz de Burton, no. And The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. No, as you can see, most of these I have not read, and many of them, it has been a very long time since I may have read them. All of the classics I haven't read as of yet. I know this is not the most extensive list of all of them, but this was what I could find to be like the most effective way to go about talking about all of these. But this does show me that there's a lot of authors I've never heard of and a lot of literature I've never heard of. But if you have any other suggestions for classic literature that I may not have read as of yet, I don't care where it is in the world, as long as I can find an English translation of it, that is all I care about. So if you have suggestions, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to be able to expand my knowledge. I realize on here, Bram Stoker's not on here with Dracula, because I know that's a classic. So I don't know why specifically. I think that these are just specifically reading guides that they have for these particular books. So if you can think of any other classic literature, though, that is not on this list that I might be interested in, let me know. So anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.